Shoot! Hi, I'm the Moorlander and this is Moorlander EDC. Coming to you today outside. Last week it was throwing it down. This week it's not, it's a little bit overcast, but yeah, it's still quite a nice day. And we are here to look at the Victorinox Electrician. This builds on the foundation that Victorinox have with the Pioneer. The Pioneer is an amazing tool, knife. And this builds on that. When you go from the Pioneer to the Farmer to the Pioneer X to the Electrician, they all have a specific tool that's designed for each of those. And this is a great little tool, knife. In the short time that I've had it, I've actually preferred this over the Pioneer. I know, shock horror. But yeah, so I'll turn the camera around now so you can have a little bit more of a look at this and show you how each of the different tools works. If you are new to my channel, where have you been? Where have you been? Where have you been? Welcome aboard the good ship Moorlander. Don't know where that was going. If you like this content, please feel free to hit like and subscribe. That's great. It means a massive deal for my little channel. But for now, let's get the camera around. Let's have a look at the Electrician. So here we have the Victorinox Electrician. This is the Alox version. Now, there's kind of a caveat with that. I don't think there is a non-Alox version. But, you know, as it's sold, the setup for this is the Alox type. What would you call it? Alox setup? The reason that it's called Alox is the scales, instead of having that cherry red resin scale that the normal Victorinox knives have, it has an aluminum oxide scale. There's a little bit of texture to it. Hopefully you can see that there. You have the classic Victorinox logo there, and then on the back, if you want to, there's a small strip so that you can have it engraved. Oh, struggle with that word then a second then. Here you have 3 rivets. These 2 rivets are the pivots for the tools on the inside, and the rivet on the back, struggling with that word today, is where the springs are. So let's go around and give you some measurements. When it's closed, and hopefully I can see this whilst on camera, it comes in at 92 millimeters, which in old money is 3 5/8 of an inch. The tools, oh, I suppose we should measure this. So whilst it's closed and all of the tools are in there, the widest for its tools is 7/8 of an inch, which is pretty much 2 centimeters or 20 millimeters. And then if you hold it this way, its width, if you can see that, is about 12 millimeters or just short of half an inch. The tools that are on here, this has 4 tools. Each of the tools is made from stainless steel. It's their own stainless steel. It's quite difficult to find sometimes what type of stainless steel it is, but you know, it's very good. It stays nice and sharp. And it doesn't particularly dull very quickly. It's good for that. It's also very easy to sharpen if you need to. So the 4 tools, as I mentioned previously, it's very similar to the Pioneer. So here we have the Pioneer. Now if you looked at them and put them side by side, they are pretty much identical. The only main difference that you can see is that the Pioneer has a lanyard hole, or a little bit there that you can attach something to, whereas the Electrician doesn't. I always worried about this, but do you know what? It's nice to be able to have something on there, mainly because as you're getting it out of your pocket, it's good to be able to have something to hold on to and to be able to find it quite easy. I do find that this one does disappear in my pocket a little bit easier. But the Pioneer itself has 4 tools, and again, so does this. You'll be able to see how the tools are in there. So you have, it's a double stack rather than a triple stack that you would get with something like the Pioneer X or the Farmer. So you have 2 tools at the top and 2 tools at the bottom here. But you'll also notice with the Alox versions don't have any tools that come from the back. You find with a lot of Victorinox knives, especially the cherry red ones, then on the back here you might have a Phillips head, or you might have on there a corkscrew. Well, on these there's none of that. They all open from one side, whether that's the left or the right, depending on how you're holding it. So we'll go through the tools now, just to give you a bit of an overview of how they all work. The first one in here, well, is your standard bottle opener flathead screwdriver. Super simple to use. I guess we all know how to use a bottle opener, and we all know how to use a flathead screwdriver. What you also have on here is a wire cutter as well. That's what that small little notch is there. So if you have a wire that you'd like to strip some of the surroundings off, what you do is you lift the main knife up, put the wire into there, and hopefully if I bring this closer, you'll be able to see as the knife comes down, it passes through there. So you hold it in, spin it around, pull it out, and then it will strip your wire for you, and that's what that small little notch is there. So that's the first tool. We then have, and this is what makes it the Electrician version, we then have this small Electrician's knife. I think that's what it's called. I guess that's why it's called the Electrician. But I do know from talking to friends that are electricians, it's actually quite useful to have a smaller, more stout knife to do certain things. The knife itself is... There are two cutting edges on here. So the first one, which is this straight edge, is 23 millimeters, or about 15/16 of an inch. Oh god, I'm terrible with inches. But then you do also have this small section here, which is just about half an inch, or well, it's just over a centimeter. This longer cutting section here is a symmetrical blade, so it's ground on both sides. All of the knives with this are flat grinds, and then you have the second cutting edge here. So this is a symmetrical cutting edge, where it's, you know, you have a cutting, it's ground in on both sides, whereas this small section here is asymmetrical. So you do have the grind here, but as you turn it over, you'll notice it's almost got that flat chiseled back. And this is used for quite a few different things. Now, I have to add, I am not an electrician, so please excuse my skills. You're probably looking at this thinking, I could do this a hell of a lot faster than you. But when you have that in there to hold it, to be able to hold it in, to strip this wire, you can do that reasonably easy and reasonably safe with this, because it holds it into place when it's in that cutting edge. Also, what I found is, because this is a little shorter and a little bit more stout, you do get quite a bit more, I don't know, it just seems easier. Small things like being able to whittle with this are a lot easier. I've found when I need to get into packaging, all of that sort of stuff, you do get a little bit more control from this smaller knife, or the smaller utility knife, than you do from the main knife that's in here as well. I actually prefer using this over the larger knife. Plus, you know, we all have that situation where we're worried that getting a knife out, somebody might take offense to it. We live in that sort of world nowadays. A small wee knife like this, you know, it gets less attention. So that's the main reason that this is the Electrician. You also have a small thumb nick in there that you can get it out as well. Now, the other bits on here, you have the main knife, which is, as I mentioned, it's a flat grind. It's a drop point to give you some measurements. It's exactly the same as the measurements on the Pioneer as well. This knife, this blade is exactly the same. So it measures in at 6.2 centimeters, or 2.5 inches. As far as thickness is concerned, it's not particularly thick. It's only 3 millimeters, or 1/8 of an inch, I guess. Yeah. You have a small ricasso here at the bottom where there's nothing on this side. However, on this side, hopefully you can see there, it says Victorinox, Swiss made stainless. There's a small thumb nick here which helps you to get it out. And what you do find with these, I've been bitten by these knives more than any other knife that I own, and that is because the tensioner on the back here, the spring back on this is savage, absolutely savage. So what I always advise is if you're looking to get a Pioneer or an Electrician or anything like that, just be careful when you're closing it, because yeah, it bites, it likes to bite. And the last thing on here is the awl. So hopefully you can see here, again, this is an asymmetrical grind on there, and then on the back bit here, that's something to rotate around. Now, the reason for that is, if you've ever used an awl before, it's just a hole making tool. So if I push this in here and start to turn it around in a clockwise direction, hopefully you can see. And it does this really quickly as well. These awls are useful. Now, I wouldn't say that this knife necessarily is a good bushcraft knife, but it's definitely a good knife to complement and to take out if you are thinking of doing some bushcrafting. So if I, again, just open up this side, and there you go, within a matter of seconds, I've been able to drill a hole through there. And that's what these awls are for. So if you're an electrician or not, whatever you're using it for, to be able to get small holes into things is super useful. And it is good, don't get me wrong, I like the awl, but this is the one tool that I use the least. If I could have my own, you know, obviously Victorinox would want to call it the Moorlander, I'd probably replace the awl with some scissors. So I'd have the main blade, or I might even keep the awl and take the larger main blade out, keep the smaller electrician blade in there, and replace that with some scissors. I think that would be, for me, that would be perfect. So there you have it. Now, it would make sense if I compared it to the Pioneer, which I kind of already have, but the main difference with the Pioneer just comes down to that extra blade. So on the Pioneer you have the can opener, whereas on the Electrician you have the that utility blade. Weight wise, you know, it's nice and light. Its whole body is constructed from the stainless steel, apart from the aluminium or aluminium oxide sides, but these wear really well, mainly because it's not coated or anything like that. It's not copper or a base metal underneath, so when these start to rub and they start to scratch, they just get that character, and you know, they're really nice. Would you believe it? So I was just about to say, is there anything that I'd change, and the wind picked up for a second. That was a hearty gale. I usually get to this point and I try to think about, is there anything that I'd change about it? And there really isn't. I think this is perfect. I've mentioned, you know, if there was a Moorlander edition, how I'd change that, but that would really make it a completely different knife. And that's the beauty of these. If there was something that you wanted to change about this knife, then it's probably more suited that you had the Pioneer. Or if you had the Pioneer and you wanted some scissors on there, get the Pioneer X. If this is really useful, or the Pioneer is really useful, but you wanted something that had a dedicated saw on there, hey, get the Farmer. You know, there's lots of different ones out there, and that's the beauty of these Victorinox knives, is that there are quite a few different models that would suit everyone. I did mention though, if I could, I'd probably put that lanyard loop on here. But that's for me as an EDC user. I'd definitely love to hear from people in the comments below, if you are an electrician and you use this, if there's a reason why it would actually be more beneficial not to have that lanyard loop on there. Or hey, you know, if you are an electrician and you want it on there, let's make some change and get on to Victorinox and, you know, see if we can have that in future. So there you have it, the Electrician. It's just a great little knife. That small electrician style utility blade, for me, I use that more than I do the normal the normal length knife on there, and it makes it incredibly useful and versatile. So there you go, I loved it. As always, you know, I do have some affiliate links. There's some affiliate links in the description below, so if you want to use those, that's great. I've started using US and UK affiliate links now, so you know, that's all good. What I'd like to hear, that was a big intake of breath. What I'd like to hear is, what would be your perfect Swiss Army knife? You know, what would be the tools that if you could make your own? You know, I've got my idea of what the Moorlander would look like. What are the tools that you'd like to have and would like to see that would make it specific for you? And hey, what would you call it? Thanks for watching today. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you know, if you'd like to subscribe, that'd be great. If you'd like to hit the like button, that'd be great. Please share. I'd love to get my content around as much as possible. If you'd like to see more from me, check me out on Moorlander_EDC on Instagram, and you generally get to see stuff as it arrives and when I'm testing it out as well. But for now, stay safe, stay Moorlander, and stay EDC. Shoot! Hi, I'm the Moorlander. Yo, I'm the Moorlander! What I'll do now is, I'll turn the camera around. While I'm doing that, if this is your first time to the channel, you'd like to see more of this, then please feel free to subscribe. It means a massive deal to me, help to build my I forgot the word. Why did I forget the word? Let's go again. Did want to do it outside, so here we are in the, well, I say glorious sunshine. It's a little bit overcast, and I had a wee bit too much to drink last night. Went out with the boys. So yeah, no, I don't need to add that bit. Why do I need to add that bit? Everyone thinks now I'm an alcoholic. I'm not an alcoholic. It was a very sociable drink. God, I'm rough. Right, let's get at it.